Hey folks, I'm out here pretty early today actually, having my coffee. I did a video yesterday that I was going to put out, and it was worse than the normal stuff I do, sloppy, rambly, too much. And I jumped topics, so I decided to do two separate ones and fix it. So first I'm going to talk about this kickdown cable. This Lokar cable, a lot of people use these. Now, if you're having trouble adjusting this, I'll tell you what I do. I read the directions the other day because it didn't seem right. I found the directions online, and they say to have somebody hold this wide open, your carb linkage, or you could zip tie it wide open, whatever you got to do. Take this guy. Make sure there's no slack in this. As you see, you can pull it. When it kicks out that way, it'll be full throttle. So when this is full throttle, you make sure there's no slack at the little ferrule or whatever they call that, and that's adjusted correctly. Well, in my case, if I make that full throttle and put the ferrule tight, it's not adjusted right. So that's kind of like the preliminary adjustment, is to set it up that way. And when I drive it, if I do that and I don't, well, you have to drive it anyway, but you set it up that way in your preliminary adjustment, take it for a ride, and every time it happens to me is that it shifts, it takes too long to shift from 2 to 3. It drags my shifts out a little bit too far. So I always just loosen this guy up like a turn and a half, maybe 2 turns. You turn it clockwise, shorten it, and that seems to make it shift just right, like a normal passenger car or whatever. How you know what I mean, when you're driving it and it feels like it's shifting the way it should. But yeah, this needs a hair of slack compared to zero. Now maybe my zero is tighter than other people's zeros, I don't know, and that's the problem. But when you adjust this, make sure you crack this jam nut. And when you turn this in, just hold this guy, okay? Because if you don't pay attention, you don't notice, and you just start turning that, this will just rotate with it, and you won't make any difference. This will just spin. So you got to hold on to this nut. That seems probably pretty simple, but this threading into here is what changes it. The bracketry just holds that. So you got to hold that nut to affect any length change here, and then re-jam nut it. But anyway, that's how mine appears to work, is it needs just a hair of slack. Like I said, maybe my tight is tighter than other people's tight. I don't know. But anyway, that's what you do. And that'll get that running, shifting correctly. Later.